Hey FlossTube, it's Megan, Georgia Girl Stitching, here with a FlossTube Extra. It is Saturday, December 18th, and I'm here for a finish parade. So I'm calling it an extra because I don't plan on doing like any life update or whips or anything like that. It's just gonna be about my finishes. So if you're a returning subscriber and new subscribers, thank you so much for clicking on me for today. There is a ton of content out there right now, especially with Flossmas going on and everything. So thanks so much for coming to hang out with me for a little while. So I was gathering, this was really just gonna be my 2021 finishes, but then as I was getting this ready, I realized that if you're relatively new around here, I've never done this before. I've never done a finish parade. So if you haven't watched a lot of my old videos, you might not have seen a lot of my finishes. And I haven't had tons of things fully finished, FFO'd. So they were kind of all in the same box. I was like, let's just do it all while we're here. So I'm gonna start with my 2021 finishes, and then, cause I don't plan on having any more this year. So I can go ahead and do that now. And then we'll go a little bit further back in history and I'll show you some of my older stuff that still needs to be fully finished mostly. So again, welcome and thanks for hanging out with me. I have a huge FFO, a big deal that I've kept a secret back from the framer, the custom framer. So I will save that probably till the end just because it's in a safe place and I don't want to disturb it until it's time. So stay around till the end. I will be doing a whip parade and update and everything like that within the next few days. So keep an eye out for that. But for today, we're gonna focus on finishes. So I'm gonna start at the beginning of 2021. So my first finish is actually gonna be so some of these are gonna be pictures because they were gifts. So the first one's gonna be a picture, and this is Kind, Fierce, Brave that I finished for my best friend who is also my maid of honor in my wedding this past summer. And I designed this based off of a picture I saw on Google. And then I chose colors that were her favorite colors and designed it myself, and then stitched it on 40 count water green. And then I picked out the frame from Target over this past spring, and then I sent it off to Keepsakes, and Barbara fully finished it for me in the frame. So that was my first finish. So I started that. I designed it and finished it pretty quickly because I wanted to give enough time to get it fully finished to give it to her at my rehearsal dinner in June. So I started it on December 3rd of 2020 and then finished it on January 4th. So I was pretty monogamous with it. But yeah, so that was my first one. And then my second one, I got this pattern, fully kitted, everything in it from my dear friend Taylor, my Cincinnati Taylor. And this is Winter Wisdom by Cottage Garden Samplings. And I finished this on January 11th after starting it on September 13th of 2020. And this is on 36 count smoke blue. And I did all the called for colors and I didn't change a thing. Well, I think I technically made a mistake, but I didn't purposely change anything, if that makes sense. So that's, oh, and also with these, okay, this is nothing. I wanna get y'all's opinion and creative hive mind going. The ones that are not fully finished, so like this, I'm looking for creative finishing ideas. I know I could get all of these framed and I might get some of these framed, but if you have any like fun, creative, fully finished ideas, I am all ears because I really have fun with different kind of finishing. I love the framed look, but I also don't necessarily have wall space for everything to be framed. So if you have any fun finishing ideas, I'd love to hear them. So here's the first one. Okay, and then the next one is a FFO. I did this for David as a wedding gift, and this is It Was Always You by Heart and Hand. Or Always You by Heart and Hand. And this is on a 28 count Picture This Plus. I don't have the fabric name. It didn't come with a name when I bought it. But I did this, it's actually kind of fun. I did this while he was on a rotation. So I had to like find time when he wasn't in the house. So whenever he was gone. But I finished this on January 23rd after starting it on his birthday in 2020. I secretly started this on his birthday. And then Barbara fully finished it for me. She chose the fabric and the cording around it, and it's just perfect. I did make a few changes to this. I added beads in the corner, which weren't called for. I moved the border down 1 stitch just to give a little bit more space with the Y. I changed the initials. I did it in Islamorada by Weeks Dye Works because we got married in Islamorada, so I thought that was appropriate. And then I also backstitched the date, which is going to be, I've never been able to get to focus on it, but you can kind of see the backstitch date down there. But the flowers and everything else I kept the same. So that was his wedding gift. And then the next finish I had was Tequila by Stitchrovia. And I did this on 40 count platinum. And this was so much fun to do. I started this on July 9th, 2020, and then didn't touch it for a while, and then I finished it on April 8th. This was one of my focuses back in the spring during my block break to get it done, and it was so much fun. I'll bring it in so you can get a closer look at it. And this you can get on her Etsy site, this pattern. So there's Tequila. And then sticking with the Stitchrovia theme, I started on June 3rd. No, I'm sorry. This is fine. I started this on June 23rd, 2020, and I finished it on June 23rd, 2021 on the way down to our wedding. We drove down to the Keys. We drove down to Miami first and then visited with some friends for the night and then continued on down the next day. But I finished this on the car ride exactly a year after I started it. And this is Smooth Sea. And it's by the designer of Stitchrovia, who's Emma Congdon, but it was in one of her books that you can get on Amazon. I'll link it below. But yeah, and also it doesn't actually come with a name in the book. It's like design 13, design 16 or something like that. So I named it Smooth Sea just because that made more sense to me. So here's Smooth Sea, and this is stitched on 40 count flax. And the only changes I made to this is that in the lighthouse, I changed the windows to be yellow, so it looked like it was on versus off. And I think that was the only change I made. I always hesitate to change her stuff. I think she's originally a graphic designer, and then she designs these and then turns them into cross stitch, and she just has such an eye that I never want to mess with them. So yeah, there's Smooth Sea. Love that. I kind of want to find something like an anchor or something to finish this on. I know it's in an anchor, but I don't know. So something creative with that one. And then my next finish, I started this on April 18th of 2021 and finished this on June 29th. So I finished this on our honeymoon. And this is the Axford Wedding Sampler, which I'm gonna try and not get a ton of glare. So I designed this using designs that exist. So Vlada X Stitch on Etsy, she has this hibiscus and this Florida. And I loved both of them, so I combined them. And then I designed in between, the words in between. I made quite a few changes to this. So the frame was framed by Barbara at Keepsakes, thank you. This frame was actually used at our wedding. We had, this is what we had our specialty cocktails page, and that sat on the bar. And then I was like, well, it's the perfect frame for the sampler. So I kind of like that it was also used in the wedding, and it's our wedding sampler. So all the significance, but I'll bring it close up. So the Florida, I changed the sky, it was all called for in DMC. So I, with the help of Susan and Taylor at Keepsakes, converted the 3 blues in the sky to variegated. And then I also changed the tree trunks to, I think it's chestnut. I changed that to a variegated. And then, Yeah, and then everything else was the called for DMC. Oh, and the water here, I think I used Islamorada. And then the Axfords was just in DMC. This was white, and then I used silver Krynic for the established. And then Islamorada Florida, I did an Islamorada Weeks Dye Works. And then the biggest challenge of this piece was this hibiscus is actually charted the size as this Florida. I did the hibiscus all 1/1 in order to get it to fit on here. So that was super fun. So 1/1 hibiscus. And I didn't change any colors on that one. But yeah, so this was Axford sampler, so now I can have it hanging up. It's on 32 count Malibu from Color and Cotton that I had gotten at Stitch Away 2020, I believe. Yeah, so love that. Can't wait to get that on the wall. And then my next finish was, it's gonna be a picture. I designed this I didn't design this. This is an Emma Congdon design from one of her books as well. And I stitched this for his aunt who did all of the flowers for our wedding. She's a florist in Chicago, and Flowers by Katie Ford. And she she did all of our reception flowers and my bouquets, all the bouquets. The ceremony flowers, like on the arch, we used a local florist on an Islamorada, but she did the bulk of it, and it was our wedding gift. So I felt like she deserved a cross stitch, and she really admired my cross stitch, so I knew she would appreciate it. So I didn't change any of the colors, but I did it on 40 count Frost by Color and Cotton. And that was actually, I think, a gift from Lenny, which was really sweet. So really enjoyed stitching it. I still have enough fabric of that to do it again, and I think I'm gonna make it for myself as well. So really enjoyed that. The frame, I got that frame because I needed a really quick turnaround for it. I got that framed at Hobby Lobby here in Auburn. I bought the frame at Hobby Lobby. It was standard size, and then just had them put it together for me because they were able to do it in just a couple days. And then I shipped it off to her. So I started that July 8th, 2021, and I finished it July 31st. So that was a major monogamous time frame on that one. And then this next one's also going to be a picture. So this was a commission from one of my friends here in Auburn. She wanted to do something special for her boyfriend's mom. So she found this pattern online. It's also from Vlada X Stitch. And so I stitched it pretty quickly and then found the finishing stand at Michael's on sale in their like spring section. And then had it sent to Barbara, and Barbara finished it for me. I just kind of gave Barbara the stand and the pattern and the fabric, and I was like, do whatever you want, whatever seems best. And she, of course, always nailed it out of the park. So so that came in the mail, and Neva has it now to give to her boyfriend's mom for Christmas. So really enjoyed stitching that. If I want to find something similar but in different colors, because that's not really my color scheme, but I had so much fun stitching it. It's really a fun stitch. So that one I started on July 31st. So I finished Katie's thing and then immediately started this one. And then I finished that September 3rd. And then I actually took that up with me to Cincinnati when I visited a couple months ago. That was one of the things I took with me to have her finish. And then this next thing was definitely an impulse start, which I guess most things kind of are. This I started on September 9th and then finished October 2nd. I was obsessed with it, had so much fun with it. I just needed something happy because it was not a great time in my block for school. But this is Pumpkin Spice by Shannon Christine Designs. And I had so much fun with this piece. The only change I made was to the cup warmer, the cup sleeve. So that has been charted. It's charted in like reds and pinks and whites, but I changed the pink color to black to make it UGA. And then, I mean, what struck me was that cup came in those colors. So I was like, well, I've got to stitch a teal cup that says pumpkin spice. It's just so me. This is stitched on a 40 count limited edition from the Fabric of the Month Club from Color and Cotton. It didn't have a name. I can't find it anywhere. But it's on 40 count. So stitched 1/1. So yeah, have no idea how I'm gonna finish this, but it's ready for next fall when the fall things come out again to find something. So that was a lot of fun. And then this one you just saw, if you watched my last video, you just saw these last two. But so this next one I started in April 26th of 2020 and then didn't touch it for over a year and then finally got the bug to finish it. And so I finished this on October 22nd, and this is a Winter by Cricut Collection. So I'm gonna do a close up. And this is on 32 count pearl gray. And I did make some changes. So, which is gonna be a repeat, sorry if you've already seen this, but I changed the chimney to actually look like a chimney. And then I changed the hat. I just switched the colors. So it's normally yellow with green dots, and I made it green with yellow dots. What else did I change? I think those are the only pattern changes I did. And then I changed the snowflakes. So I was impatient, and I really wanted them to be sparkly, but I didn't have a toile. Couldn't find a toile anywhere at the time, and I was being really impatient. So I got the DMC metallics, which I've learned there's tricks you can do to make it more enjoyable to work with, but I did one strain of metallic and one strain of white, because that's technically what it called for. It called for Kreinik blending filament, which would have been one strain of that and one strain of white. So I used one strain of DMC metallics and one strain of white, and it was not fun. But it's hard to get on camera. It does have a nice sparkle effect. Like, it's what a toile does as well. It's just, so it's still sparkly in person, so I got the effect, but whew, I paid for it. So, so yeah, so that's Winter. And then this will get framed. This one will be framed eventually. I have Summer and Autumn done as well, and those are also going to be framed. Okay, and then my last finish of 2021 was back in November. I did it over an entire weekend. So started Friday, finished Sunday, and that is Thankful and Blessed by Shannon Christine Designs. This is a freebie in her Facebook page, a Facebook group. So if you find her Facebook group, this is a freebie in her files. And I did this on 40 count Country French Rain. And this was so much fun. I did almost a complete color conversion just because I didn't have all of the colors in my stash and I wanted to start it. So I just found colors that were very similar. So this is the same color scheme. It's just technically different numbers. So if you're interested in that, I'd be happy to share it. But it is the same idea as her charted. And this was so much fun to do. So I did this while I was in Bethesda visiting David on a very impulsive trip. So yeah, so Thankful and Blessed. I don't know how I'm gonna finish this one either. It's so little, but I'm sure there's something out there. So yeah, so that's all my finishes for 2021, which is a lot more than I thought there would be, considering I'm in medical school. But what's the thing about medical school that I've learned is that you have to have downtime to decompress, and if I didn't stitch, I would go absolutely insane in medical school. So this has just been a really nice decompress. That's why I started cross stitch in the first place. So I'm very happy with all of those finishes, especially the gifts. I love cross stitching gifts to people that I know will actually appreciate it. So those are my 2021 finishes. So now I'll go into just some random previous. There's no order. I don't know all the dates. I don't know all the fabrics. I didn't really start keeping track of stuff until Lenny gave me this book last June. So thank you, Lenny, for helping me keep organized, because I was not really. And I even went and looked on my Instagram to try and find some of these fabrics, and I didn't even post them on Instagram at the time. So I don't have all the information, but I can give you my best guess on some of these. Some of these were last year, and I do know, but so the first one in the pile is Hello from Liz Matthews, How Sweet It Is. I finished this last year. Did all the called for, and then I think this is 40 count platinum, if I had to guess. And then I'm gonna do how she has it in the chart, where it's gonna be like an oversized, like it's gonna be an 11 by 17 frame, oversized, so it's down in the corner. I really just need to get this done. It's a standard frame. I need to just send this off. But yeah, so this is a good reminder to do that. So this was a lot of fun. It was super, super fast. I remember it being a very quick stitch. And then this one I also finished last year, but I can't find the fabric. It's a stiff one, so I'm not quite sure. But this is, oh no, what's the name of it? It's a Twin Peak Primitives. Christmas Lantern, maybe? I'll put it down below. But Twin Peak Primitives, absolutely enjoyed stitching this so much. The fabric is super stiff. It's a 32 count raw of some sort. It might just be 32 count natural linen. It doesn't have the yellow or the orange, so I don't think it's a Zweigart. I'm not sure. It just like was a keepsakes when I bought it. But this was so much fun. Only changes I made here was that in the corners of the berries and the Noel are Krynic, just to add a little bit of sparkle. So if you have any creative finishing ideas for this, I'd love to hear it as well, because I don't totally know. Obviously I could frame it, but if there's anything fun. But yeah, just love that one. And then this was a gift from David's mom, so my now mother-in-law. She completely kitted this up for me for my birthday a couple years ago, and I finished it last December. So this was like end of last year finish. I think I was working on it on Christmas. But this is Mary from Cottage Garden Samplings. And this is on 35 count Dove linen from Weeks Dye Works, which is just perfect. Absolutely love doing this. I'm trying to remember. I don't think I made any changes to this. Purposeful changes. I'm sure I have some accidental changes in here, but I don't think I made any purposeful changes. So, and this was so much fun. Cottage Garden Samplings has definitely become one of my absolute favorite designers. Her patterns are always just such a joy to stitch and always look absolutely gorgeous. So I have 2 more of these, of this series, Songbird series, that I have kitted up and will be starting soon. So, but more about that in my update video later. So yeah, so there's Mary. Those berries are just so much fun. Let me do a close up just so you can see. The called for colors are perfection. So yeah, there's that one. And then this one was my, I was monogamous with this summer of 2020. So last summer, I was absolutely monogamous with this and loved it. And this is Celebrate Summer by Madame Chantilly. Ugh. I just have such fond memories of stitching this. So I started this on my birthday in 2020 and then had it done before I started medical school, middle of July. I was absolutely obsessed. And this is on 40 count mallow. This is all called for, except I made one change, and that is the anchor on the pot I added. So she had this whole summer theme and then didn't have an anchor. And I was like, well, for me, I gotta have an anchor. So I added that to the pot right there. Oh, and I also, the lighthouse I changed to yellow so it looked like it was on. But those are my only changes. So yeah, if you have any fun creative ideas for finishing this as well, I think that'd be really fun. And I'm currently working on 2 of her other trays. Her trays are just so much fun because you just have like little mini finishes with each thing. So really enjoyed that. And then this one I started, I know I started this in April of 2020. I don't remember when I finished it, but I mean, all of these, most of these are going to be on my previous floss tubes, so you probably have seen them. I haven't watched my floss tubes back in a really long time, so I don't know exactly when all these were, but I know I started this in April. And this is a Reindeer Roundup from Prairie Schooler, and this one was a lot of fun too. So I did make a few changes. Some of them were accidental modifications and some of them were purposeful. Santa's arms are chubbier than Charted because of accidental modifications. And then the other change, the main change I made was down here, this guy, I added a reindeer down there and made that one Rudolph. They only had 8 reindeer. And I'm like, well, that's rude. There's no Rudolph. So I added a 9th reindeer, which is this reindeer right here, flipped and put him down here. Oh, and I also added a color. Yeah, I misread the chart. And so I had 2 different colors. And then I was like, well, I still like that other color. So I added 3 colors. So there's 3 colors, 3 reindeer per color. And I think there's only 2 charted potentially. So yeah, this one was hodgepodge. But my dad had the idea, and I still need to do it, of adding reindeer or Rudolph. He needs to have a red button for his nose just to really stand out that he's Rudolph. So I need to add a red button still, but that's reindeer roundup. So much fun. And that's all, it's all DMC, as Prairie Schooler usually is. But yeah, so that was fun. And then, got 2 more. This one you've seen a lot, but I felt bad not showing it if I'm doing all these other previous finishes. So this is another Hello from Ms. Matthews. This is Quaker Pumpkins. Quaker Pumpkins. Actually, I'll just do this, it's fine. This is on 40 count Rin. Oh, Reindeer Roundup was on 32 count flax, I'm pretty sure. So this is a 40 count Rin from Picture This Plus. And this I was obsessed with last year. So I know people have seen this quite a bit if you're relatively new. But if not, here you go. And so the biggest change I made was I changed the words at the bottom. So she is charted All Hallows Eve. I changed it to Autumn Harvest so I could keep it up. She had crows where those leaves are. I changed them to leaves, a freebie pattern that I found. She also had a crow there, but I changed it to the acorn. And then all of the crows and everything, that was all charted in like black, gunmetal gray or something. Well, because I wasn't doing any of that, the border is also charted in that. And I felt weird putting the border that dark. So I just changed the border into the color of the stems. So that's brown instead of black. And then I changed this was also supposed to be a dark color, maybe even the black, and I changed it to green to make it look like grass for them. So do a close up. So I did quite a few changes here. And as I've said in the past, if you are interested in this conversion, then I am happy to share it. Just email me at the email, preferably email me, because then I can just hit reply and send it to you. But if you aren't comfortable with that, you can send me a message on Instagram. But preferably email if you want any of this. I'm really just sharing the words and the leaves. The acorn I modified from a pattern I already had. So if you have that pattern, I'll share this with you. It's the Patchwork Quaker Monet version from Stickadine von der Weitenberg. So if you have that pattern, I can share the acorn, but if not, it's not my right. So yeah, Quaker Pumpkins. I am thinking this is gonna get framed in one of those like shadow, not shadow boxes, but it's like canvas. You can like, for how you frame canvas things is that there's like a little bit of it's like mounted on a frame, that, if that makes sense. So that's my idea right now, but if anyone has any other ideas, I'm happy to hear it. It's kind of big, it's a big pattern. On 40, and this is on 40 count, it's this big, so. And then last but not least, I just got this back from Barbara as well as a finish, so as a fully finish. I did this was a quarantine start and finish. So I say quarantine, we weren't actually quarantined, but last April of 2020, it's a Saturday, everything was closed, so I guess it's kind of quarantine. I had nothing to do, couldn't go to keepsakes or anything, so I woke up, started this, and finished it within like 8 hours. And this is Wine a Bit by Sue Hillis. And I did, so I did it on 32 count mushroom Lugana. Sorry, 32 count mushroom Lugana. So let me just zoom in on that. This was one of the first charts I ever bought at Keepsakes. Absolutely fell in love with it. Finished it within 8 hours. I only made one change, and it was an accidental change. So the "you'll feel better" is about 3 spaces too low. Like, I counted it off of the wrong leaf. So it came below the end of the vine. So I just added this loop-de-loop down here to even it up. So that technically ends there, and then I just added that to even it out. But then, this stayed in the box for a really long time, obviously, and it's been over a year. And then I was going through something, and I found this that I had got at the Biltmore Winery one of the times that my parents and I were there. I had gotten this, and I realized it fit perfectly. Not planned, total wonderful surprise. My favorite winery, one of my favorite wineries, and it fit on there. And so it came in the mail like this. So Barbara finished it up for me. She did a perfect job. I love the cording. And then I showed it to David when it came in. He was like, I was like, yeah, and then there's a space down here, so I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with that. And he was like, you should get a Biltmore cork, cut it in half, and put it on there. So he did that. I didn't do that. I found the Biltmore cork, which was not hard to find. And this was actually the cork. So when all of our parents came for Thanksgiving, Mom brought a Christmas Biltmore wine, and this was the cork from that. So, which is right on top. So it was easy to find. So David cut it in half and glued it down. So, and it was a red Christmas red. And I know it's fun to it's a special cork too. So yeah. So this is I don't know where we're gonna put it, over the bar somewhere, but I had a lot of fun with that. So I love when random things happen like that. Okay, but now, the piece de resistance, or whatever they say. If you have been around a little bit of time, you've probably heard of my Celtic Ladies that I do. So I've been working through the Celtic Ladies by Lavender and Lace series, and I have finished Celtic Winter and Celtic Autumn. And then Barbara, before I left, she hand cut triple mats for them, which was, and she pinned them. And they were absolutely amazing, but they were obviously not standard sizes. So I would need to get them custom framed. And that has not really been in the budget. And then at the beginning of December, I got an email from Michaels that they were having a 60% plus 20% sale on custom framing. And I was like, David, let's go look. Let's just go see. Like, if we can't find the right thing, if it's too expensive, we won't do it. Well, that discount plus the military discount barely put it in the budget. Looking at the original price, only sales will I ever be able to justify that. But I took Celtic Winter, and she is back from the framers, and I am so excited to show you guys. She is humongous. I see now why it was expensive. But it's just amazing. So I'm gonna stand up because I want to give her due justice. But there's gonna be a little bit of a glare just because of the lighting, but it is technically an anti-glare frame. So we got the anti-shatter, anti-glare, like the museum glass essentially, and anti-shatter because there's a lot of moving around that's gonna happen in our life. But let me come back. And just do it from a distance at first. The frame was brand new. They just gotten it in, so it's a good thing we didn't go much sooner than this. But there she is from a distance. Let me come in. Sorry, Tinky. Let me come in closer. And that's the frame up close with the mat. So just absolutely blows my mind. Here's the piece. It's been a minute since I've showed it on here. So this is not the charted colors. This is a silver conversion that you can find. There's a Facebook page that I'll link below called L&L Celtic Ladies Conversion page. And someone posted this silver, white, blue conversion that just blew my mind. Because it's charted in like purples and golds, which are just not my color scheme. So yeah, there she is. And that puff is all Whisper, her little puff. So yeah, so that's Celtic Winter. It's on 28 count Jobelin Twilight Mist fabric that I got from Keep. I don't know the designer of the fabric, but yeah, so she's here. I don't know where I'm gonna put her yet because she's only gonna be here for a short amount of time before we move, which I'll talk about in my update. But yeah, so yeah. So happy to finally be able to share this with you guys. Next sale, we're getting Celtic Autumn done, which I'll show, you know, when we get that done. But now I can officially share this on Instagram and all the places. But she's just that and triple matte cut out that Barbara did. If you guys, I mean, so Keepsakes used to do framing, but they don't anymore. So, but she will still do mats and pinning. So if you want some special mats hand cut like this, Barbara knows what she's doing. So, okay, I'll put it away now. But yeah, so that's all of my finishes to share. I have a few random ones around the house, but you've seen them either recently or they're paying to get off the wall. So, so in a future video, I'll show some other previous finishes. But I think that's all I have for now. So I'll be posting a whip parade and whatnot. I might film that today still and just put, I don't know. So it's coming. That's coming with updates and plans because I have some plans. So in the meantime, I hope you have a wonderful winter and Christmas break if you celebrate, and I'll see you shortly. Thanks, friend.